Brown 45. Brown 45. Hot, 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 hot.
You are listening to Any Given Sunday, Australia.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast, the number one podcast in at least 3 households, 1 studio, American Football Australia head office, NFL Australia head office, ABC studios, ESPN studios, Budgie Smuggler head office, trending worldwide as always, joining us in a very nervous western wing of his household at Danny Webb, AGSAU. How are you, mate?
I've been fine all week, literally all week. And then all day yesterday, people just kept on coming up to me, like, 'cause you know how they wave us down when we walk down the street, just to talk to us at the fam and all that. All week, I was fine until yesterday. And they kept on being like, how you feeling about Monday? How you feeling about Monday? I was like, no, I'm good. And then went to write this. And I'm like, I'm not good. I'm so far from good. So I'm in an excited, nervous, shaky wreck at the moment. So this episode's going to be great.
Now, last time, the same teams, obviously, that you guys actually made it. You went away. You spent time away to watch the actual game. Do you remember the lead up to that game? Were you as nervous or just not a bit more into it nowadays?
Yeah, I don't think I was as nervous. I was more blindly hopeful, I think, at that time. You got to remember, like, Hurts was a super young quarterback. We kind of just had a blinder of a season. No one was really expecting us to be there in the first place. And then to get there and then pretty much win, if it wasn't for the refs, was very heartbreaking. But yeah, so I think it was more of a disappointment towards the end. But as far as the nerves, I definitely wasn't like this. This is next level.
You are next level committed now compared to what you were there, though.
Yeah, Eagles head to toe, baby.
A few things we've got to talk about before we talk about the game, so you can relax a little bit. There's a bit that's going on. First thing is our Budgie Smuggler competition has been run and done, but we will have a code, a pre-sale code that will be run for 2 weeks. It'll be up before the Super Bowl, so make sure you just watch our socials. We'll be plugging it left, right and centre, don't you worry. But you'll have 2-week chance to get yourself your own set. So that'll be huge. I know a few people that will be jumping all over that one. Danny boy, we had the Pro Bowl games over the weekend. I can tell you, I saw about 4/5 of fuck all of it. I wasn't prioritising watching it. I did see a little bit on the socials, and that was cool. Mainly through NFL Australia and Cody Fuller. She was over there as the ambassador for the flag game, the flag football game, which she got to meet and hang around with some very cool people.
Absolutely. There's photos all over her socials. Check that out as well. Like, she's standing right next to JJ, and I was like, poof, God, love to be in that spot. But the one good part about the Pro Bowl, and always will be from now, especially with flag becoming an Olympic sport, was the actual flag game. The flag game, man, had some killer highlights in it, and it was just fun. It was so fun watching these superstars who obviously play tackle football out there just having fun. They were getting touchdowns, pick sixes, jumping in the foam pit. It was like a great way of showing their talent. And like, even Baker Mayfield, when he was out there, some of his dimes he was hitting, I was like, I've never seen him that agile ever. But like, take the pads off him and like knowing the fact he's not going to get tackled, they just play with a little bit more risk. And it was such a fun game to watch. And it just like really proves how good flag football is as a game as a whole. Like, we obviously love the game of tackle and we love the sport of and the National Football League and all that. But flag is growing, and the fact that they keep on doing this and showing how fun it is so good. It's so good for younger generations growing up or people to get into the sport. It's absolutely perfect. And I think it's such a smart thing that the Pro Bowl's done, because it is exactly what you said. You watch 4/5, but the 1/5 you probably did watch was the flag game, because it's the only important part. So I reckon they need to throw so much more focus on that, because that's the best part of the whole weekend.
I know Wade and the guys at American Football office, they've been working huge with this. I know there's going forward, because it is LA 28 and we are in there, there's a bit of a collaboration between NFL Australia flag and American flag. They're going to be doing a lot going forward heading into that. So it's only going to get bigger. So make sure you get in on the ground floor, just like we have, and enjoy it now while it's still growing, because it's going to get huge.
Oh, absolutely. So on its way up, man. On its way up.
Trade season. it's blown up in the NBA. You're more across that than I am, although everyone saw that trade that went down. But the NFL trade season is fast approaching, and there's some big trades that have come out in the last couple of days that are going to go down. The first one, Danny Boy, I want to get your idea on. Myles Garrett. He's come out and he says, and I think this is key to say, that he wants to be traded.
Yeah, 100%. This was on him. So he said he's not, like the Browns have got the number 2 pick, so finished with a terrible record. I think they only had 3 wins. He's come out and said he loves the city, but the reason that he's in the NFL is because he wants to compete and win a Super Bowl. You ain't doing that with the Browns anytime soon.
No.
But he's got a little bit of contract issues, which all superstars, all reigning defensive player of the years are probably going to have. I think there's like $35 million on the table for 2025. So that's probably going to need a restructure, or they're going to have to wait till a certain part in the season when they can actually trade him. But who cares about that? Let's talk about the top contenders and the best list and best fits for him. So let's be real. The Browns are probably going to send him to the NFC. They're going to send him to the AFC. They don't want to compete against him. So here are my top picks for this. The Lions, right? They were banged up on the defensive end. And they've actually got the cap space for him. Imagine lining him up next to Hutch. That is a scary defensive matchup for any quarterback. They do not want to be seeing that whatsoever. So Lions, probably actually my number 1 fit for him. And, you know, they're so close. The only thing they haven't seen is the confetti rain down, but they're getting there. One step at a time, they're getting there. But that's all they want. And I think with a fit like Garrett, they probably could get there. My next one, my birds, Eagles. I know we're already in the Super Bowl right now, but it's Howie. Howie is an aggressive trader. So he just wants everyone and anyone, any big name, any signer you can get, he was going to get it. And also Josh Sweat is actually probably the biggest free agent of next year. And he's already signed a new agent, which doesn't look good for the Eagles for him staying. Unless a new agent is literally going to just restructure a deal. I highly doubt it. Now, this one, not quite a contender, and he obviously wants to go to a contender, but a really interesting one, the Falcons. What about just a straight old trade? Kirko Chains for Garrett. Who says no? I wouldn't say no. Kirk's done there.
Well, Penix is the man now, isn't he?
Yeah, so then he's on a rookie contract, so there's going to be plenty of cap space. Get Kirk out of there. Myles Garrett straight in. 1 for 1. Perfect. The other one's the Commanders, because they've really got to make the most of the fact that Jaden Daniels is still in this rookie contract and he's playing out of his mind. So why not? Why not give him all the weapons that you possibly can? So let's shore up that defense, which actually did struggle a little bit last year and probably part of the reason that they went down. And now I haven't mentioned any AFC teams, but you could literally just say any contender here, like the Chiefs, Bills, Texans, Bengals, Ravens, even the Broncos or Chargers. But as I said at the top, the Browns aren't going to want to play against him in their own division.
Now, I know I've got the hat on, but why don't you have the Green Bay Packers in that group, mate? We are looking most likely. It does seem like Jair Alexander's going to be gone, so that'll free up a fair bit of cap space for us, mate. Why couldn't we get him?
Because he wants to go to a contender.
You're a fuckwit. We played playoffs 2 years in a row, mate. We'll be right.
Yeah, playoffs 2 years in a row. That's fair, but it didn't make my top 5, mate. I'm sorry.
I reckon any team that he goes to that's thereabout, like making playoffs or just missing playoffs, is automatically a contender.
I love how I put the Falcons in and not the Packers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What a jab. Unintentional as well when I was writing that. I was like, go me.
Yeah, you're an idiot. At least we've... Oh, fuck you. Anyway, yeah, no, I reckon we genuinely do have I'm not 100% across our cap. I don't think we've got space. I know that. Just don't know how much space. But yeah, Jair, if he does look to be traded, which I wouldn't be stoked if he does, but there's a chance. There's always a chance. Yeah, I reckon we could make it work. And like I said, any team that he goes to is automatically a contender, and they're going to be bullying a lot of teams next year.
Oh, it is going to be scary whoever gets him. And like Charlie, who's not here today, but he said if he comes to the Bills, he's like, that's our winning ticket. Like, that's it. That's our, punch our hold of the Super Bowl.
Right. That's it. I'm going. Book some flights. The other big one that's come out in the last couple of days is Cooper Kupp. Now, the difference between this one is he was informed that they're going to work with him to trade him. So he doesn't want to trade. He said he wanted to stay. He thought he was going to be one and done as a team. but it looks like he's on the way out. And huge, again, I don't think he can go to a place. He won't be wide receiver one. We've seen that this year. He didn't have a big year. He had quite a down year for his standards. Coming off, was it he did his knee, didn't he? Last year or the year before.
Yeah,
So,
ACL, I think.
yeah, he's still coming back. Like, another preseason under his belt, just doing whatever he has to do. He can get back to some pretty good standards, but like you said, not wide receiver one, but fuck, a good wide receiver 2 or 3.
Yeah, so I think the Rams are pretty smart in doing this because they're just going to move on from him before his stock drops too much, and he's got a fair bit of money left on the table.
You called this 2 or 3 weeks ago, by the way.
I did. Hey, massive pat on the back to me. This is a great episode. Birds in the Super Bowl. I keep on getting things right. Everything's on the way up for Danny Boy. So he's got so much money left on the table. He's got $20 million in 2025 and roughly the same in 2026. There's certain trigger points of when money gets paid, blah, 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 blah. So they'll trade him at the opportune moment and probably have a little contract restructure as well. But yeah, my top contenders for this, mainly on the other side, but the Steelers, very interesting one for this because they probably need a vet next to Pickens. And who knows, is Russ coming back? Justin Fields going to step in? Not too sure on that. But having a vet wide receiver in there could actually really help that offense. The Cowboys, but desperately need him. But Jerry's going to do Jerry and not do anything about it. So that'll be great. But Dak Prescott would love to have him. Would absolutely love to have him. And pair someone up against CD Lamb. But ain't going to happen because Jerry's going to do Jerry. The Ravens. Now, the Ravens just love a big name. Any offseason, any trade they can do, let's sign a big name. We want them. So you could definitely go to the Ravens. The Broncos, let's pair him up with Bo Nix. Bo Nix did some things which we weren't really expecting, especially you, which I love to bring up. But let's pair him up with Bo Nix and see what happens. Your boy forever. We actually should get you a Bo Nix jersey and just put it up right behind you.
I love a Bo Nix jersey.
And just say, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And then Charlie's number one team, the Bills. So they've tried to do it by committee. They tried to do it by committee this year. Didn't work. They didn't make it. They didn't get the whole thing done. I know there was a lot of other things going on, but maybe with a vet in that wide receiver locker room, that'll be enough to shore him up. He doesn't need all the targets. We've seen what the Rams did this year. He doesn't need all the targets, but his knowledge and insight of the game and, going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, all that sort of stuff, maybe that's the thing that the Bills actually need. Because we saw him get rid of Diggs, which obviously wasn't working. But maybe if you put someone in who's actually been there and who's maybe a little bit more of a team player, they might get the job done.
And you think going into that kind of situation where there's not a wide receiver one, like Shakir's probably the wide receiver one now after the way he finished the season, but by committee, it'll still be by committee if he's in there. But his targets are going to go way up, and you could see that production level go from where it was this year to a hell of a lot higher.
I feel like that honestly is probably going to be the best fit. Let's be realistic. It's for the team itself and for Cup.
And they said they want to work with him. They don't want to. They don't want to fuck him over and send him to a shit team. They'll help him out to get to a place that he can have some more success.
And I think the Bills will be that.
Timestamp this one. Just see what happens in a few weeks. They're the two big names that have come out the last few days. Heading into the Super Bowl, which is always a good time to start, spruiking your wares and where you want to go. So, be interesting to see once that period opens and two big names that could really change a couple of franchises in a better way. Could you see any team getting them both? That'd be huge.
That now we spoke about a winning ticket and going straight to that might help. That might get you a good chunk of the way there.
Well, definitely wouldn't hurt, would it? All right, mate. Now, Monday, we have a pretty big game. We've got a pretty big game coming up. It's the Chiefs. Actually, you're the home team, which I found out. I reckon we spoke about this last year. It just rotates as to who it is. Chiefs at Eagles. We're not going to go through any of the betting and stuff like that because we are going to do a betting episode later in the week. So we're not going to worry about the line. We're not going to worry about who's paying what. I do know that you are underdog, so just throwing that out there straight away. But how are you feeling? It's your team, mate. So this is a big episode all about you, which is huge.
Which is exactly what I wanted, especially when I hosted and I said I wanted you off the podcast. So this is perfect.
Goes a long way to doing that.
Let's just pick a team that's going to go to the Super Bowl 2 out of 3 years. Nice little sprinkle. God, I'm nervous. I don't know if you can tell by my rambling, but I am nervous to even start talking about this. God, it's a big monkey. It's a big monkey on the back. But lucky, Sirianni gave me a call recently because,
Your
just,
boy.
yeah, he's got me on speed dial just because he likes to give me updates on the team because I'm, number one fan and all. But he said after the loss in Super Bowl 57 in 2023, they didn't just change their game plan going into the Super Bowl. They changed their game plan leading up to it. So they've changed their whole season formula. So they've adjusted since like preseason, leading up into the season, everything that they're doing, players that they're resting, players that they're sitting out in different practices and doing all that sort of stuff. Everything has literally changed since that Super Bowl 57, which is great news because, we're so close to getting it done, but maybe if we had gone out a little bit harder, got a bigger lead, we wouldn't have had the refs give the Super Bowl to the Chiefs and it wouldn't have been so bad. So some massive positives leading into this for the Eagles is exactly what you said. We're still the underdogs. That fuels the Eagles. They want to be the underdogs. The fans want to be the underdogs. Everyone wants to be the underdogs. Another thing is majority of the ticket sales have gone from people in Pennsylvania, which is where Philadelphia is, which is a huge stat. If we can fill that stadium and get that Philly fan base, I know they're questionable at times, but the Eagles love to play in front of their home fans. Chiefs also really struggled against the rush with the Bills, and that was with Cooks. Cooks ain't no Saquon. Saquon, every single person that I've spoken to recently come up to me and like, how'd you get Saquon? And how is he doing what he's doing? Like, this is the season of running backs in our current generation. No one's done that. And as long as he continues to do what he's done, we should be looking all right. On top of that, Hurts just had his best game of the season playing it against the Commanders, and his passing game's finally come back, which long awaited. Like, I know he went out in his concussion and he limped his way through a couple of games, but, we're starting to actually look all right. And the defense is now got heaps of takeaways against the Commanders. They're looking pretty strong. And then the final thing that Sirianni did tell me is Brandon Graham is been activated to practice after his torn tricep. So even if he's just there, he never actually left the locker room. He's gone to every single practice. He's gone to every single team meeting. But if he's actually there and suited up, just the boost that will give, the Eagles, that locker room and everything surrounding that. The issue is, now I've got a list of positives for the Chiefs.
No, we'll talk about you boys first, and then we'll talk about the Chiefs. So, I think the biggest point that you made just there is the Chiefs, they struggled a little bit with Cooks, 2 weeks ago. He had 13 rushes for 85 yards, averaging 6.5 rushes per attempt, per yards per attempt. 2 touchdowns. You've got the number one rusher on the season. He's getting more than 13 touches. They didn't feed him. They didn't touch him in the first half, which was really weird. I was talking to Charlie during the game, and he was just like, why are we not feeding Cooks? He's absolutely on fire. He's dominating, but he's not getting the ball. If you guys feed Saquon and actually feed him properly, then it'll go a huge way. Not only for him, but then it'll also open up the running lane for Hurts. That's the key to this game. It's as simple as that. If he has a good game, if he's averaging 6.5 and he's getting 18, 19 carries, that's 100, 120 yards he's getting comfortably. We'll talk about it later in the week, but we're going to be smashing his overs. Whatever it is, we're going to be smashing it. Go. What do you look like you have something?
Also, if he is, which he will, as you said, have more than 13 attempts, that is going to break down that offensive line, and they're going to get tired. Like, there's only certain players that can be out there for every single snap, and then as soon as you find a weak point, then that's what you end up attacking. And we mentioned it last week. Hurts had 3 touchdowns, and Saquon had 3 touchdowns. Like, on the ground. Like, that is insane. That is 6 rushing touchdowns. If we can get 6 rushing touchdowns against the Chiefs, I think we're going to win.
As long as you don't go out, and Charlie said it a couple of times about a few different teams, they go out there and they just go away. And that's, I reckon, what the Bills did. They go away from their game plan. They go away from the identity they've been. As long as you guys stay with, even if they start off like, there's going to be some juice early in the game, obviously. If they come out and they stop Saquon, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and you don't quite get it, you got to stick with it. Hopefully they don't go, let's feed AJ Brown now. Because, yes, he can be good, but he's only good when Saquon's good because it opens up the passing game and then it allows that down the ground. So
the thing is, Callum Moore was always, and has always been a pass first offensive coordinator. And then he's got to Philly and he's like, I've got Saquon, let's run it every single time. Please don't go away from that.
Do not go away from that. That is the biggest. Now, I asked you this a couple of weeks ago, or after your big win, and you, it's all good, it's all good. But let's bring it back to an Australian way, or what's happened in the past. And it was my team. It happened better for my team. The Sydney Swans versus Brisbane Lions in the grand final. Sydney had a very, very easy run in. Brisbane played a few tougher games, one after, 25, 30-point comeback. We were a bit more battle-hardened and we absolutely annihilated them. Is there any part of you that's worried about you've had a lot easier run in? You beat the Packers, Commanders last week. Who was the one you beat before that? Oh, no, you only had the two because you were the...
No.
Doesn't matter. You had the easier run in. Is there any part of you that's gone, we've just absolutely put 52 on the Commanders? Are we any kind of worried about this? Not rust, obviously, but it's the fact that you've had the light run into the Super Bowl where the Chiefs have had to battle and fight, like 3 points over the Bills. The Rams, you beat the Rams, yeah. Is there any part of you that's worried?
Not in that sense. And as I said to you, it's a different game. You have a whole week off. You change your game plan. You change your coaching. You change everything. Like, everything is different. I don't... yes, we smashed the Commanders, but we struggled against the Packers. 52
on them.
We struggled against the Packers, though. And then we also struggled a little bit against the Rams. That was a nervous end to that game as well. So it's not like we've just absolutely cruised the final. And if we're going to have any game that we're going to score a lot and be pretty comfortable on, I'll take it to be the last game, so then some players can sit out the last few drives. I'd so much rather sit out the last few drives, especially in NFL where the injuries are so high, especially at this end of the game where their body is stretched to the max. I'd much rather smash a team then, have some players healthy, so then they go into the Super Bowl and they can prepare and be as healthy as possible, and then change your coaching, change your game plan, and we'll just see what happens. We were playing the 6th seed as well. Come on.
Yeah. A nice little stat that I saw, which just might prop up your little bit of confidence. The last 10 times in the Super Bowl that a team has gone, it all depends on where the stadium is. So it's not the last 10. All right, I'll just preface that now. It's not the last 10 Super Bowls, but the last 10 times that a team has gone. So the Birds are traveling west, the Chiefs are traveling east. Anytime that's happened, the team that travels west has won.
Every time in the past 10.
Last 10.
The other issue with that is the team in the white jersey definitely has a higher winning record.
Ooh, were they green? Were you green and they were white last time?
Yes, sir.
Ooh. So
but
you meant to bring that in for the Chiefs one. I brought it in for you. You brought it at the wrong point.
There is so much motivation, I think, coming from the Eagles side, Eagles locker room, all that. You want to stop the Chiefs. You want to beat the team that beat you 2 years ago. You want to get your first Super Bowl ring for, I would say, almost all these players, majority of these players, because I don't know how many were there in 2017. Not many. So you want all of this. Nick Sirianni's very much a winning coach, but doesn't have a Super Bowl yet. So they need it. They need this win.
All right, let's go to the other side. Do you want me to talk about it, or you've come up with all the points? So
you shoot for a bit.
I'll go. All right. So there is a lot of positives for the Chiefs. And I think the first one is love them or hate them. They've gone to 5 of the past 6 Super Bowls. They are the New England Patriots of the 2020s. So if you hate them, it's because of how successful they've been and the way they go about it. I love that. I don't know if you saw any of the first few days of media. Travis Kelce actually went back at the media and was like, hey guys, why do you get into this refs debate? We have nothing to do with the refs. If they want to favour us, that's on them. Don't get into us. It's just the drop of the ball sometimes, and I love the fact that he went back at the media and just said, guys, pull your heads in. We've got nothing to do with it. It's motivation for Mahomes. Like you said, if he gets to his 3 in a row, 4th in total, he's getting up there with the Tom Brady's as in the greatest of all time kind of categories. And it's hard to deny him when he's winning this kind of, and his percentages of winning is huge. You wrote this point, and I just want to knock this on the head. No team's ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. No one's ever done a three-peat. There is a team that has won 3 in a row, Danny boy. Can you name who that team is? So it wasn't 3 Super Bowls in a row. It was a championship and then 2 Super Bowls in a row. The Green Bay Packers won Super Bowl 1, Super Bowl 2, but they also won the championship the year before. So it has been done. But you're right. No team has won 3 Super Bowls in a row. So and they want to be that team. It's the fact that Tom Brady didn't do it, I think, is huge for Patrick Mahomes to say, well, I've got one over him. Kelsey loves the bright lights, and we know that Taylor Swift will be there at some point somewhere. And there's a question which I won't fire it to you just yet. We'll fire it. That'll be the first question I have for you. The defense is firing, and Chris Jones is up and about. If you've seen him at the media days, he's up and about. He's getting around it. Again, another one that loves the bright lights. And it's this kind of big stage. That's what I was saying. If they can stop Saquon early, you got to kind of stick at it because Chris Jones is going to be a big part of that, getting into the backfield. Before you've even handed the ball off, he'll be there. Taylor Swift will be in the building. She's going to her second, I don't know if it's 3, back-to-back Super Bowls for her, which is, all the Swifties love that. Interesting to think now, the coaching side of things. Would you say that the Chiefs have the upper hand on the coaching side of things? Nick Sirianni, good coach. I think he's 5-6, something like that, or 5-3 in playoffs. Patrick Reed, Coach Reed's like 28-6 or something ridiculous like that. I'm giving it to them, and as far as the coaching side of things, mate.
100%. So you not only do you have Coach Reed, but Spags, and we spoke about this in our last episode, but his decision of when to do things and his defense that he lines up, they can literally run any defensive play from the way that they line up. So you never know what he's going to do. You don't know if he's going to blitz. You don't know if they're going to drop back in zone. You don't know if they're in man-to-man. You just don't know. And that's Spags' genius play calling. But luckily for us, Vic Fangio has actually got us to the number 1 defense. So we'll see.
I think there was a stat, though. Vic Fangio was like 0-5 against Reed or Spags, one of those two. So it's not a great thing for him, but that's motivation for him to get over the line. Surprisingly, the way they have gone around this season, their offense has struggled, maybe deliberately. Those who are thinking a bit of a conspiracy theory that they want to win the whole season without. Well, they've got 32 points last week, which is the first time they've cracked 30 for the year. Is that more motivation for them? The fact that they're a 15-2 team, and people were still saying that they sucked.
I don't think anyone was saying that they sucked. They just said
there was a few people that said it.
Their offense just wasn't firing, and a lot of things went their way. So let's just hope the coin's on the other foot.
Coin, shoe,
shoes on the other foot, coins on the other side, whatever. I told you I'm nervous. Let's just hope it just bounces the other way this time.
Now, the question I did have for you, and we talked about it, and you said it. This goes way back to our AFC West preview. Travis Kelce, if they win, they get the 3-peat. Does he call it quits?
I'm tipping so. The fact that I said that way early on, and I had so many Chiefs fans hate on me for it. I still reckon, once he's done this, what more left is there for him? Because realistically, they probably know that getting to this point was almost impossible, and they have. If they go on and win, they're not going to get any better. I can't see him coming back and doing a 4-peat. So why not? Why not go out on the highest of highs? He's clearly besotted with Taylor Swift. Run away together and live a happy life. T Swizz, have a break from music. Kelsey, have a break from the Chiefs, and let someone else win.
He is, and he's, I don't know exactly his contract. He's paid quite well to do what he does, but he's still the handbag in that relationship if he told what to do.
She's $1 billion woman.
She knows what she's doing. But yeah, I agree with you. I kind of think if they do it, so what if they don't do it? Is he coming back? Do you reckon he has the fire in the belly if they don't?
That'll be the hard part. That'll be very much the hard part. If they don't win, will he want to come back? And I think as any player would want to. You want to go out on a winning, like holding that trophy above your head and be like, I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going forever. Like, this is it. I'm out.
It'll be an interesting one. But all right, mate. Some questions about the game. Yes, go shoot.
I've actually got one for you. I was going to save this. I was going to save this one to the end, but I couldn't. So there was a time in the NFL where Tom Brady was the Patrick Mahomes of now, I guess, and he was doing nothing but winning. Do you know what team stopped him from getting his three-peat? The Super Bowl 52, if that helps.
52. So 50 was...
You're taking too long. You're taking too long. It was the Philadelphia Eagles. It was none other than the Philadelphia Eagles. So we are a dynasty killer. Ooh. We are a dynasty killer. Yes, okay, we didn't beat them 2 years ago, but that was the start of their three-peat. Now we can actually stop them getting their three-peat. We've done it once before against Tom Brady. So let's do it again, but against the Chiefs.
Yeah, right. I like it. You give yourself a little bit of a let's go birds about it. Do you think the pressure of getting that three-peat will be too much for the Chiefs to handle?
I think the fire in that kitchen would be so hot. Because not just that, it's exactly what you said. It's Mahomes being able to compare himself to Brady. Being like, hey, I did this, you didn't. He knows that. Any way he can give himself a competitive edge, he will be. It's the Kelsey wants to retire at the end of this year, so let's get a win. So much of it. And Andy Reid, put his name up there, even though it already is, but let's put it even higher up in the lights. There's so much riding on this. There is so much riding on this that if they fall short, they'll be like, oh, yeah, they just kind of thumbed in the season and just didn't have enough. I don't know if they'd want that next to their name. No,
they are way too... It's like you said, he's a competitive beast, especially Mahomes. He just lives for that, lives and breathes. So last time you guys played, Hurts was clearly number 2. You guys win, he's MVP. Like, he had a great game. Off the top of my head, a couple of rushing touchdowns, over 300 passing yards. It was an incredible game, especially for such a young QB. He's a couple of years older. He's had that Super Bowl. Do you lean into the fact that you have to lose one to win one?
In this case, yes. I would have loved to have walked away with that one in 2023. I would have, but it just didn't happen. Didn't fall our way. I think someone who's going after their first is hungrier than someone who's going after their fourth / a three-peat. You are hungry. You haven't tasted it yet. You haven't tasted that glory, and that's all this team wants is to be able to do that. I think that makes you hungrier.
Now, the Chiefs were the first team ever to, I think, outgained by over 100 and lost the turnover battle against the Texans a couple of weeks ago and still win the game. They were the first team to ever do that in a playoff. If you guys don't win the turnover battle, are you done? Like, we know that they can win without it, but if you guys don't win the turnover battle, you cooked.
I'll put that down to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes' ability just to pull things out of his hat. I love Hurts as a quarterback. Don't get me wrong, he ain't no Patrick Mahomes. Not yet. Not yet. You never know. We might head in that direction. No.
He was very fumbly at the start of the season. I reckon he lost one.
Straight up, no. Yeah. If we lose the turnover battle, I reckon the boys will hang their heads and then that'll be it. Game will be done. That is the thing we need to do the most, is protect the ball. Protect that ball like no tomorrow and do everything we can to force as many turnovers as possible against this team that doesn't like turning over the ball.
So obviously that comes down to defense. Where do you think you guys, or where do the Chiefs hold the key to their defense? I think the Chiefs is pretty obvious. Chris Jones. Yeah, he is the key to that defense.
Yeah, 100% he's the key to that defense. But, we've got Jalen Carter lining up against Patrick Mahomes. And as I said earlier, there's certain defensive players that can't handle every single snap. Jalen Carter is one of them. That man is a fit beast who loves to poke the ball away, who loves to get after him and get it. Like, these Georgia Bulldogs are just such a good fit for this Philly defense. And, if they can continue to keep on firing on all cylinders and keep on pushing and put pressure on and stay out on the field, because Patrick Mahomes will see. He will see straight away if there's a mismatch and he will target it. And then we're cooked.
I think on the other side, we say Chris Jones is the man, but the biggest part of it's going to be stupid, and I know what I'm trying to say, and it's ticking over in my head. The biggest part of the Eagles' defense is the Chiefs' defense is the Eagles' offensive line. If our boy behind me, behind you, Landon Dickinson, if they can hold back Jones and hold back that defense, you guys go a long, long way. And you see, there's been videos going around about Big Geordie, his Bane impressions on the field while he's running down the field. If they can get up and about and hold back that defense, that's going to go a long way for you. Opens up holes for Saquon. So I actually think probably the two biggest, like Lane Johnson in there as well, if those boys can hold up, so Geordie Mailata can go a long way. He holds a key, I think, for you boys and this Super Bowl.
And how amazing for that. Like, we got an Aussie that we're going to be cheering on to be the key and be the difference maker in this game. We said he should have been first all team, but he wasn't. He only got second, and it wasn't enough. He deserves more respect for someone who's never grew up playing the game, started playing it as an adult, and then just really learnt and crafted his game surrounded by just the Philly coaches. That's how all this came from, was just the Philly coaches, and he's already up there competing as one of the best. Let's let him have a Super Bowl. Let's go.
Huge and just such I can't say it enough. Like, after meeting him earlier in the season, I know you were very, very devastated you get to go there and meet him. Just a genuine and nice guy. So to have him be Australia's first would be incredible, and shit, I think he deserves one. So we'll be getting around him. All right, mate. Let's finish off. We obviously know who you're going to pick, but do you have a score and an MVP? We're going to do betting later in the week, which we'll break it down a bit more, and maybe a few outsiders who could come into it. But do you have a score and an MVP for us to finish off?
I do. So the score is going to be 38-35. And that might sound familiar. That was
exactly how familiar
that was
that
the
is.
exact score 2 years ago. It will not go the Chiefs' way this time. It will be the Eagles. It'll be a close-fought battle. I'm going to be so nervous the whole time, shaking and spilling my beer as we watch the game. But I reckon the Eagles are going to get this done, but only just. Field goal in it. And MVP, got to go to Saquon Barkley. If we're going to win this game, Saquon's got to do what he did in the previous game. He's got to rush for 1 billion yards and get a heap of touchdowns. And then that's how we get this job done. Or Jordan Mailata can have it, but I don't really know if it's going to get an offensive lineman.
That would be huge if an offensive lineman won. He should, but he won't. 38-35. I actually picked this last time. I'll have to find the recording on SEN Live. Pick 38-35. It was obviously the other way. I agree with you. I think it's going to be high scoring. I know that both defenses are good, but last time it ended up breaking open and being quite free-flowing game. So I agree. I'm going to say 38-41, so we're just adding an extra one on there. But yeah, maybe it's because of you, but I kind of hope the Birds get the job done, mate. I'm in your camp. Big Geordie Mailata is a big reason as to why, but I also am not looking forward to 6 months, probably 12 months of you saying that you guys won.
I'll be good. I'll be real good. Just let us have this. Let us have this one. Yeah, you and majority of the world, I think, are kind of backing Philly for this because no one wants to see the three-peat. No one really likes dominance, and there's not really much we can do about it. They have been the greatest team of recent history. So for us to be able to take them down, there's nothing that would mean more to me apart from actually being there. That'd be great. Maybe.
We'll be in Santa Clara next year, mate, don't worry. Patrick Mahomes actually come out and said, he goes, I was one of those people. He goes, I hated Tom Brady because he was so good. And I think he revels in the fact that people hate him because he's that good.
Yeah, let's not give him any more fuel because he's listening.
Yeah, absolutely. He loves Australian. I think it probably agree. They don't really have a Saquon Barkley on the other. Travis Kelce's the only one really that could be the MVP if it's not Patrick Mahomes. Like, for them to win, it's Patrick Mahomes as MVP. He'd be paying $1, surely. Yeah,
it's got to be him, and also because then he gets 3 MVPs in a row. Like, it's another record for him to break. And if he's going to go out there and win, it's going to be because of Patrick Mahomes. Really, at the end of the day, it's coaching and then Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Coaching can't win MVP though, mate.
It cannot.
All right, mate. Huge week ahead. We'll be down at the Boat Builders yard. Make sure if you see us, get around us. We're going to have a few things to give away. So make sure you hit us up. I can't wait. It's going to be a huge day. Later in the week, we'll put out our betting slips. Make sure you get around those. Good luck, mate. It's going to be a huge week, and I'm excited for you.
Let's go, Birds!